Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm back with another look at my gratitude documented ring bound album. We are going to be looking at days 11 through 20. I am running a little bit behind, and honestly I'm not sure that I'm going to finish this project. As some of you guys know, I've been sharing that I am still recovering from pneumonia. I was sick for about 3 straight weeks with all kinds of craziness, so I fell way behind in this project. So I've spent the last couple days getting caught up to day 20, but I'm not quite sure what the last 10 days are going to look like. But I did go ahead and do a flip through of days 1 through 10. I will link that video down below for you guys if you want to check that out. So let's hop right in. As you can see, I have had to switch out for larger rings because it was getting so chunky, and this is only 20 days. I'm still supposed to fit 10 more days in here, and I just don't know how I could possibly do that. It is so thick and so fat, but that's okay. That's what I wanted, was for it to get super, super chunky and have lots of fun elements in here. Now, as I mentioned in the first 10 days, I was trying to incorporate tons of photos, and I did actually get quite a few photos in the first section, but as I fell sick, I didn't have as many photos, and I was just trying to get through, honestly, just get through the project. So I do have a photo for day 11, right? Day 11, yes. This is for the word glory, and I had this photo that was taken in my backyard. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but this has streams of sunlight coming through the clouds, which photographers call God light or God's light, and it just makes me think of His glory. And whenever I think about just the glory of God, I think of this kind of imagery, and so I went ahead and used that photo. I will link this Polaroid frame for Photoshop down below once again, like I did in the previous video. But most of the products that I used for the rest of this were pretty much the same. Lots and lots of Felicity Jane. I did incorporate some fabric, just kind of pleated it and taped it behind the photo. Some more Heritage Collection stickers, you know, just lots and lots of texture, lots of fabrics and threads. This was a paper clip from Flourish by Gigi. She does Instagram sales for her felted goodies. You'll see the little acorns as well. Those are all from her. I'll be sure to link her Instagram down below. For the Bible verse, I went ahead and wrote it on this tag. This little insert piece was something that I did as a Felicity Jane project. I'll link that blog post down below so you can see the elements that I created. There's several of these little inserts that I created in that project, but it had a little tag in there. I used a gold pen. I don't love it. It was kind of difficult to read, but just to save time for some of these, I just went ahead and hand wrote some things. So there is Ezekiel 11:22. It's on the little tag. And then on the back, I used the Illustrated Faith stamp, and then used some numbers for day 11. I went ahead and used one of AllieScraps prayer request cards, typed out my prayer, used a little vellum piece from the Maggie Holmes Heritage Collection. So yeah, keeping things pretty similar to the first 10 days. On the back side is another one of those prayer request cards for day 12. This was for scripture. And here is where I kind of detoured away from the photos and just stuck to focusing on the verses. So I used a variety of alphabet stickers, some chipboard pieces. Most of these are from Felicity Jane. These ones right here are from the Maggie Holmes Heritage Collection. Layered it with some printable tags that I had typed on and just wrote out or spelled out the John 1:1 scripture. So I love the look of this. I love how it takes up, you know, lots of space. I'm able to use up a lot of the stuff in my stash. Still continuing on trying to, you know, number each one of these, layering some washi tape, some more thread, ribbon, things like that. So there is scripture. Next up we have Mercy. This is for day 13. I wanted the stencil from Illustrated Faith, the Vanessa's stencil, but it was out of stock. So I went ahead and just created a couple stencils on my own. I have a tutorial sharing how I use my Silhouette Cameo and these plastic dividers to make stencils. I will link that down below. I found this one for the numbers because I lost my number one from Illustrated Faith. This one was in the Silhouette shop. Already had it all laid out and everything. And then this was just a stencil font that I found in the Silhouette store, and found one that was pretty similar to the Vanessa stencil from Illustrated Faith. If you don't have a Silhouette Cameo, I would definitely encourage you to order these stencils from Illustrated Faith. I'm sure this one will come back in stock eventually. But for those of us who had the Silhouette, I just went ahead and created it myself so I could get that same look. And then I found this one in the Silhouette Studio shop as well, just, you know, fun, funky alphabets that I could use as a stencil. So I just created some of my own stencils, and so I stenciled out the word mercy, and then again using lots of alpha stickers from Felicity Jane. I looked up the definition of mercy, and I really liked this tenderness of heart. And so while I in my prayer was thanking God for his mercy for us, but also asking him to help me to be more tender-hearted towards others, using some chipboard hearts from Felicity Jane. This is, again, one of those tag insert pieces that I created for Felicity Jane, so again, check out that blog post if you haven't already. And then I went ahead and wrote out the verse on the back side of here. This is Micah 7:18. I used a silver Uniball gel pen. Again, don't love it. It's kind of hard to read, but I can always go back and cut out another tag and cover this, you know, and type it out if I wanted to. This is what happens when you are hyped up on cough medicine with codeine and don't feel good. I'm just trying to get through the project at this point. So another prayer request here that I just sent through my typewriter, and then used some of the Maggie Holmes Heritage Collection pieces, some number stickers for day 13. And then on the back side, another prayer, one of the stickers from the Heritage Collection with some more alpha numbers. For discipline, I went ahead, and this was a large die cut piece in that Heritage Collection ephemera pack. And then I just took a like spot grid 3x5 card and cut it down and matted it to that after I ran it through my typewriter. Added a little bit of stitching detail, some ephemera pieces from Maggie Holmes, the sticker from Illustrated Faith, and just kind of layered everything up. So from here on out, it's primarily going to be focusing on the Bible verses on these pages here. Of course, I am still adding lots of foam adhesive, and that's kind of why this got so chunky. If you're doing something similar for Advent, let's say, and you're doing the ring bound system, just be careful how much foam adhesive you use. I got a little crazy, and it's obviously getting way, way full. All right, next up we have home, and so I kind of went nuts just layering up lots of pieces. I remembered that I had this little house die cut in my Felicity Jane pieces. I think this is from the Rebecca collection, if I remember correctly, but I will link all of the Felicity Jane die cuts down below. They are great little die cut packs. They come with tons of little pieces that are perfect for a project like this. I had some fabric pieces that I had die cut using some leaf dies. I used I think I mentioned this in days 1 through 10. I used, what's it called? It's like the heat bond stiffener stuff that you put on the back of fabric to make it a little bit more stiff. So I ironed that on there and then ran this through my die cutting machine with some dies, and then used some of the Illustrated Faith die cuts, and then some more of the Felicity Jane pieces. And then I went ahead and typed out the Philippians 4:19 verse on just a scrap piece of brown paper bag, layered one of the Illustrated Faith acetate pieces, and then stapled some numbers on there. So again, just going for lots of fun texture, you know, torn edges, just trash and stuff that's laying around on my desk pretty much is what I go for. Here's another one of those pieces that I created for the Felicity Jane blog, so I'll link that down below. I went ahead and tucked my prayers in this envelope, the prayers for both day 15 and day 16, just because I wanted it to be a little bit more private with things that I was talking about in those prayers. So that's going in that envelope. And then for day 16 is Legacy. This is one of the journaling cards from Felicity Jane. I have tons and tons and tons of those. They're 3x4 cards. This one was one of the library cards. I don't know that you're even going to be able to see it because I covered it in so much stuff, but I decided to go ahead and use those as foundation pieces for typing out my verses. They were just really perfect size for these pages. So typed out my verse, used that same stencil, a little bit of washi tape. This was the wildflower stamp from Illustrated Faith. Just stamped it on some white cardstock in black ink and fussy cut that out, and then layered some more of the Maggie Holmes Heritage Collection, lots of that thread. And then up here, you know, a little bit more of that brown paper bag. I like to try to tie things in for both pages. That way the spreads kind of, you know, coordinate and match when you flip them open here. Some more numbers, some more stickers from Maggie Holmes, and then another one of those paper clips from Flourish by Gigi. Next up we have day 17, and this was for Hope. So this was one of the journaling cards from Felicity Jane. I typed out Romans 15:13, and then it only took up, you know, half of the card. So I just tore off the bottom half to give me that nice rough edge, stapled another acetate floral piece, and then used a variety of alpha stickers to spell out the word hope. I just kind of try to pull ones that had colors that are kind of repeated through this project. Layered a little bit of lace. This was from that like tag, or was it the mini album tag set or something like that from A Pile of Ashes. It came with a whole bunch of like ribbon and stuff like that in there. So I'm just using those trimmings layered behind. Here I had fun kind of clustering the number 17. I used that stencil, some alpha stickers, and then those Maggie Holmes stickers, and just kind of taking up some space down in the corner there. This again was another one of those Felicity Jane projects that I did. A little pocket here with a tag. So I went ahead and just wrote out my prayer on the tag in there, so it keeps it a little bit more private. And then this is one of the tags that I created using the Cocoa and Reno dies. I do have a process video for these, so I'll link them down below. I just made a whole bunch of them, had them on my desk, and then I could just pop them in here as I wanted to. Use some more of that really pretty rose gold leatherette numbers. These are from Felicity Jane for day 18. And on the back wrote my prayer for day 18, which was Heritage. So again, taking one of those Felicity Jane journaling cards, tore it in half, typed out the verse, used the stamp from Illustrated Faith, layered some of the die cuts from Illustrated Faith. I obviously don't have enough adhesive on there. Used, this was like a scrap of one of the Illustrated Faith stickers that I had cut for one of the previous pages, and then just tucked in that piece there. And here, you know, I stopped using foam adhesive on all of these. That way I could cut down on some of the bulk. All right, for day 19, again, using one of those journaling cards from Felicity Jane, but I actually cut off the sides, made it a little bit more narrow. And it was just a grid piece that says, I want to remember. And so then I just went ahead and typed out Psalms 103:12. These were some vellum hearts from Felicity Jane. I know Illustrated Faith had some vellum hearts as well for one of their past kits, but these ones were from Felicity Jane. I just took 3 of them, stacked them up, and stapled them onto this card just to add some fun texture. And then this was a little die cut from Felicity Jane, and I used the Illustrated Faith stamp to stamp out my cup is full. And then this was the rest of that wildflower stamp that I had used on a previous page, and just use that little scrap poking out of the side there. Some numbers from Felicity Jane. These were a little bit older, so the adhesive wasn't great, so I just went ahead and used my tiny attacher to staple them. You do see the staples on the back side, but I'm not upset about that. It's not the end of the world. So stapled that on there. Again, using the word card with some thread, and then this was a chipboard piece from Felicity Jane that I layered up with some ribbon, and then my tiny attacher. So it says, today I'm thankful for forgiveness. I kind of like how that fills in some space there. Here was another one of those pieces that I created for Felicity Jane. And this has a prayer in here. And so while we're talking about how thankful we are for all these different things that God has given us, forgiveness is a tough one for me. And there's definitely some people in my life that I struggle with when it comes to forgiveness. So I had a much more like intimate prayer about somebody specifically. So I went ahead and tucked it in this envelope. And I recently got a wax seal set. I'm having so much fun with this. This was my first attempt at using it. So basically, I'll show it in a future video once I kind of master it, but you melt the wax. You can buy different colored waxes. So I found this one that's this really pretty rose gold. You pour it on there, and then you can buy separate stamps. I got this one that is the letter L, so either for Lindsey or Lanning, first name or last name, and then you just press that stamp into the wax, let it cool, and I did brush on a little bit of Perfect Pearls just to kind of bring out the detail of that. But now it's like that really cool traditional wax seal. It's all nice and sealed. I did layer a little bit of thread behind there, but most of it got covered up. But that way my prayer is extra private, tucked in there. You could also create these on wax paper and then attach them to your projects if you're nervous about doing it directly on your project. But I just love the look that that gives. And then finally for day 20 was new song, the verses in Revelation 5:9. Again, using one of those journaling cards from Felicity Jane. And this really pretty blue striped pattern. But I layered some vellum over the top of it. So I actually typed on the vellum and then stapled that over the card. So it kind of knocks back the pattern a little bit. Used one of the Illustrated Faith stickers. This is the first time I've used up the entire sticker sheet. I actually used every single sticker from the sticker sheet this month, so I was able to toss that. You can see I added a little piece up there, and then a heart from Felicity Jane, a little word sticker from the Maggie Holmes Heritage Collection, and again, just lots of texture with the thread and the paper bag. I did add a little bit of foam adhesive on that one. So there's a look at days 11 through 20. I could go through and finish the last 10 days, but I should be gearing up for Advent, so I kind of wanted to kick off that project, and then I may come back and finish this. I know most of us are going to be finished with this project, so leave a comment down below. Let me know if you want to see the final 10 days. It'll probably be, the first week of December, second week of December before that video would come out. So I don't even know whether it would be worth it at that point because most everybody will be done. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know if that's something you would want to see when I do finish it, even though it'll be past the time of the project. But I had a lot of fun with this project. I love how fat and chunky it got. I'm going to do something similar for the Come and Carol kit from Illustrated Faith. I already did the unboxing. I'll link that down below and set up the rings for that one. So it's going to end up being something similar. I am going to have to be mindful about how much chunk I use because obviously this got super fat. So there's a look at days 11 through 20. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Check out the description box for links to everything that I used. If I missed something, leave me a comment, let me know, and I'll add it because obviously there's a lot of stuff in here. Give this video a thumbs up if it was inspiring. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to click on that bell notification button so you don't miss any future videos from me. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.